Title: My Struggle to Learn English. Growing up in a small village, I always admired people who could speak English fluently. It was as if they had access to a world I didn't know. They seemed more confident, more knowledgeable, and had better job opportunities. I often felt left out when someone spoke in English because I couldn't understand a single word. That's when I decided I would learn English, no matter how hard it seemed. The first attempt, my journey started in high school when I realized the importance of English. Unfortunately, our school didn't have great resources or teachers who could teach the language well. I was on my own. I borrowed an old English grammar book from the library and tried to understand the basics, nouns, verbs, tenses, but it all felt overwhelming. I remember the frustration of not being able to pronounce words properly. I would practice saying simple words like apple and table over and over, but when I spoke them aloud, they never sounded right. My classmates would often laugh when I mispronounced words. It was embarrassing, but I was determined. Facing the fear. In college, I was exposed to more English speakers. That's when I realized that learning English wasn't just about reading or writing. It was about speaking and understanding. The first time I tried to speak English in front of people, my hands shook, my voice cracked, and I fumbled through my sentences. It was humiliating, and I wanted to give up. But deep down, I knew that if I wanted to achieve my dreams, I had to push through this fear. I started watching English movies with subtitles, even though I could barely understand the dialogues. I listened to English songs, trying to pick out individual words. I would repeat sentences from movies, practicing pronunciation in front of the mirror. Slowly, I began to catch on. The breakthrough. A breakthrough came when I met a friend who was fluent in English. She encouraged me to practice with her every day, even if I made mistakes. At first, I was hesitant, afraid of being judged, but she reminded me, you can only learn by trying. I began speaking short sentences with her, and to my surprise, she corrected me gently without making me feel foolish. The more we spoke, the more confident I became. Over time, I started thinking in English rather than translating every word from my native language. This was a huge step forward for me. Setbacks and determination. There were still setbacks. I remember one incident when I had to give a small speech in English for a college event. I had practiced for hours, but when the time came, I froze. The words wouldn't come out, and I ended up switching back to my native language out of embarrassment. I felt like all my efforts had been wasted. But instead of quitting, I used that experience as motivation. I started focusing on improving my vocabulary, reading English articles, and expanding my understanding of sentence structure. I joined an English-speaking club in my town, which helped me practice in a supportive environment. Achieving fluency. The turning point in my journey came when I landed my first job. The company required me to communicate with international clients in English. At first, I was nervous, but with every phone call and email, I got better. The confidence I had been searching for all these years was finally within reach. It didn't happen overnight, and it certainly wasn't easy, but with persistence, I became fluent enough to hold conversations, make presentations, and even teach others. Today, I look back and realize that my struggle to learn English wasn't just about the language. It was about overcoming fear, pushing through self-doubt, and believing in my ability to grow. Conclusion. Learning English has opened doors I never thought possible. It has allowed me to connect with people from different cultures, access better career opportunities, and expand my knowledge in ways I couldn't before. But more than anything, it taught me resilience and the power of persistence. If there's one thing my story proves, it's that no matter how tough the journey, if you're determined, you can achieve anything. English is just a language, but the lessons I learned along the way are ones I will carry with me for life.